Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. I'm Harvinder Singh. I'm a pre-sales engineer at 42Gears India. I'm excited to discuss the importance of mobile security for businesses and the essential measures that can help them glide through the threat landscape. In the wake of pandemic, a large number of mobile workers continues to work remotely in 2021. This has caused an unprecedented rise in the number of malwares and other threat vectors resulting in data breach. Therefore, securing business endpoints has become one of the top most priorities of all the organizations. This is where mobile threat defense solution comes into picture. A mobile threat defense or MTD solution helps businesses to identify common threat vectors and safeguard the mobile devices against malicious activities or data breach. Now, I will quickly give you a snapshot of all the things that we are going to discuss today. Let's check out the agenda for today's webinar. Today, we will discuss some of the key endpoint security challenges concerning businesses in 2021, possible solutions, key features of such solutions, and some of the benefits of adopting an integrated MTD for threat detection and remediation. Later, I will demonstrate 42Gears MTD features for Android and Windows devices. And in the end, I will take some of your questions. So let's get started. Mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets have become crucial tool for every organization. The increasing need of employees to perform business tasks from anywhere at any time require companies to provide remote access to business data on these devices. This makes devices the perfect target for hackers. In the past year and a half, as entire world battles the pandemic situation, the threat landscape has expanded, mostly due to hybrid working model that organizations have been forced to adopt. According to a new forecast by IDC, the US mobile worker population will continue to grow at a steady rate over the next 4 years, increasing from 78.5 million mobile workers in 2020 to 93.5 million in 2024. Additionally, by the end of the forecast period, IDC projects that mobile workers will account for nearly 60% of the total US workforce. The pandemic has caused many businesses to restructure their operations to enable remote work. Today, an increasing number of employees use mobile devices to access business data remotely. This leaves organizations exposed to some of the biggest mobile threats, such as malware, malicious apps, phishing, system vulnerabilities, and man-in-the-middle attacks. Mobile applications are key to the functioning of business operations. Employees use mobile apps all the time. This makes mobile devices the easiest target for hackers to carry out attacks. For example, when employees are working from office, the IT administrator can take care of securing the parameters. However, when the employees work from home, they set up their own routers and networks, a practice that threatens the security of the business data. Therefore, mobile security is no longer an option, but has become a necessity. Now, let me take you through the top 5 mobile security threats that were encountered by the organizations around the world and why you should take these seriously. Some of these threats evolved during the 2020 pandemic crisis and continues to threaten businesses in 2021. The first major category of vulnerabilities that are challenging the security of your business is malware. Malware are pieces of code that are intentionally designed by the hackers for illegal activities such as eavesdropping and recording conversations, extracting call log, or collecting passwords. Cyber criminals may also use mobile malware to lock devices and demand payment to return the data to the user or unlock the devices. The second mobile threat is malicious apps. These days, it's not very uncommon for businesses to encounter fake or malicious apps. Users who install applications from third-party app stores may accidentally download malicious apps. Malicious apps intended to take control over mobile devices. Most of the time, these apps may not even look harmful. And even the popular apps such as Facebook and Instagram may be repacked and laced with malicious codes. Next up, the threat on our list today is phishing. Phishing is a kind of cyber attack wherein attackers send the link to the target recipient through emails that appears to provide emergency updates. This tricks the recipient into clicking a link and download the attachment in the message. For instance, the message can be a request from their bank. According to Google, in April 2020, phishing scam skyrocketed by a whopping 350%. In 2021, the phishing scam have become complex and even more targeted. Traditionally, attackers would send phishing links through email or inside apps that would look urgent and require you to take action. However, in 2020, the attackers targeted phishing campaigns to various categories of internet users that include online shoppers and even Zoom and Skype users. However, their basic intention still remains the same: stealing user credentials and impersonating the target in order to steal money or confidential information. So moving on, the next common mobile threat on our list today is system vulnerabilities. Unpatched version of apps, browsers, and operating systems are highly vulnerable to attackers. Devices based on Android, which has so many different versions and models, are especially susceptible for attackers via system vulnerabilities. Attackers can leverage the weakest link in the system to cause havoc. For example, in 2017, the WannaCry ransomware attacked computers that ran on unpatched Microsoft Windows operating system. The last threat on our list today is the man-in-the-middle attacks. When cyber criminals intercept the data shared between two parties is called man-in-the-middle attack. Attackers spy on victims in a Zoom call is the example of man-in-the-middle attack. And devices connected to the rogue network, such as public Wi-Fi hotspots, allow attackers to steal sensitive information by eavesdropping. Now, that we are familiar with various categories of threats, let's discuss the measures that businesses can implement to efficiently detect threats. Integrating mobile threat defense feature into a UEM solution can enable organizations to detect and remediate cyber attacks at various different levels while managing endpoints. MTD scans business resources for threat and protect data at multiple levels, such as application, network, device level, and storage level. 42Gears UEM solution, SureMDM, boasts world-class mobile threat defense features that can help monitor network connections, content, devices to identify threat and ensure that any malicious activity is proactively blocked. As of now, businesses can use native MTD to secure devices across Android and Windows platforms. Now, let me tell you a little bit about how MTD works. At the application level, MTD identifies malware through application sandboxing and code analysis using techniques such as anti-malware filtering, code simulation, application reverse engineering, and static and dynamic app security testing. At network level, MTD monitors cellular and Wi-Fi network traffic for any suspicious or malicious behaviors, invalid certificates, secured sockets layer. At the device level, MTD monitors OS version, security update version, system parameter, device configuration, firmware, system libraries to identify device vulnerabilities and malicious activities. It also checks for modification of system libraries, configuration, and jailbreak or routing. And finally, at the storage level, 42Gears MTD solution checks for malicious files in the device storage. Next up, let me give you a brief look at what 42Gears MTD has to offer for Android. Number one, the MTD feature for Android is scheduling scan. So proactively monitoring the security of business critical applications by running continuous scan even when the devices are offline. 42Gears MTD allows you to run full device scan, and if you don't have time, you can still run a basic or light scan that will allow you to take action. For example, you can choose to quarantine or delete threats. This helps IT admin to act immediately, thereby reducing the overall time to take action. IT admins can pick a time and may schedule scan on any day or every day of the week as well. Number two, 42Gears MTD provides protection against phishing and fake apps. You can employ the enable web filter option to filter any links across multiple web categories against a wide range of malicious phishing URLs. Enable the fake app protection option to detect application vulnerabilities such as suspicious app behavior. Number three, 42Gears native MTD also offers antivirus protection for all your endpoints. You can even enable real-time protection monitor, which will essentially allow you to scan suspicious objects, detect riskware adware, and directories that have to be monitored. Number four, application monitor. This option will allow you to analyze installed apps, detect riskware adware, and scan the side-loaded apps. Feature number 5, secure connectivity. This option analyzes Wi-Fi connection and detect network vulnerabilities such as man-in-the-middle attacks, malicious hotspots, and unsecured Wi-Fi. Sixth and the last feature for Android is anti-spam. Anti-spam option detects threats hidden in the contacts. IT admin can either block list contacts or allow list contacts. A note here that all of these features are supported only from SureMDM next version 27.00.00. I would like you to all SureMDM users to get in touch with 42Gears technical support team, tech support @42gears.com to get the latest version of SureMDM Nix agent. Next up, let's explore the features for 42Gears SureMDM for Windows operating system. On Windows devices, you can scan 42Gears MTD scan feature, which provides real-time protection, define exclusions, check antivirus signature updates, and protect user from intruders. You can also create and apply multiple remediation actions to different user groups. Let me explain these in details. Number 1, scan option can scan archive docs, emails, network files, and files in the drive. Number 2, real-time protection option allow you to monitor app behavior, incoming and outgoing files, and access to device settings. Number 3, exclusion option, which allow you to define the extension path and the processes that have to be excluded from scan. Number 4, signature updates. This option can use to check antivirus signature updates for interval sources and fallbacks. And number 5, exploit guard. This option allows admins to provide intrusion protection from the user on Windows devices. This was all about threat detection. Now let's see for the remediation action that you can take after detecting threat on Windows devices. So report any problem from the connected cloud, define the frequency of file sample submission, set the duration for which the suspicious files should be blocked while being scanned on the cloud, allow or disallow script scan, allow or disallow users to access MTD user interface, define feature action, define actions which are default to be taken based on threat severity, define the duration for which the quarantined items should be stored after cleanup. So there are multiple benefits of deploying threat detection technology through 42Gears native MTD. First, 42Gears MTD is an integrated solution. This means MTD features are added into SureMDM, which makes it easy to use while also reducing the cost of an additional solution. Second, 42Gears MTD ensures 100% user adoption. You can activate MTD on all devices without user intervention and ensure 100% user adoption through SureMDM. This will allow IT admins to restrict users from disabling MTD feature on the devices. Third, the solution increases visibility into vulnerabilities. 42Gears MTD not only increases the visibility into the vulnerabilities related to devices, networks, applications, storage, but also enable IT admins to respond quickly. Fourth, MTD solution helps you to maintain compliances. It allows admin to maintain device compliance by pushing security policies such as periodic device scans. Fifth, threat detection. Solution helps detect threats and patches vulnerabilities, which in turn reduces the risk entry points. And the last one, scan apps and analyze them. 42Gears MTD helps scan malicious apps, therefore protecting users from application-based risks such as malwares and data leaks and abuse of privileges. Now that we have discussed 42Gears MTD features, let's move on to the use case and applications of these features. MTD solutions are absolutely necessary in high security and regulated sectors such as banking and finance and healthcare. The last year and a half have been challenging for healthcare and finance sectors. For instance, several hospitals in US were targeted by ransomware, which infected vulnerable servers and networks, rendering them inaccessible. On the other hand, the financial sectors were targeted by hackers using threat vectors such as malware, man-in-the-middle attacks, and phishing. MTD solutions can play a major role in preventing mobile application fraud and data leak. Additionally, it can also help organizations reinforce compliances with data protection regulations. Next, MTD solution can be highly useful for companies that have equipped their workforce with Android devices. These devices are used for both their professional and personal activities. One of the industry is the logistic industry. In this scenario, MTD can help deploy customized security policies to the devices used by the logistic purposes. Let's do a quick demo so that I can show you how MTD feature works on Android. So I have a SureMDM console here. So SureMDM is 42Gears unified endpoint management solution, which helps in managing personal and corporate devices across iOS, macOS, Android, and Windows platform. Now let's have a look at how the MTD feature can be enabled by the admin in the SureMDM console. So first, the valid user credentials are required once the user is logged in. They must go to account settings, top right corner under settings, and there is an option account settings. So inside account settings, admin must search for data analytics feature. Enable the first checkbox and search for MTD app scan. Once both the options are checked, click on apply button. Now we have the MTD feature enabled for this particular SureMDM account. So for the demonstration purpose, I have created a separate mobile threat defense group and enrolled a few devices, 2 devices in that. One is Android and another one is a Windows VM. So we will use these 2 devices for the demonstration purpose today. And before I start, the enrollment procedure is very simple. Since SureMDM is a client server application, So client must reside on each and every endpoint. So once the agent is installed, it is configured with the server parameters, the URL and the account ID. It starts sending the information to the server and it's online like so. We have the full access of the device. For Android devices, admin must install a MTD agent on the devices, but for Windows, the Defender will work and it will execute all the policies which admin will apply on the devices from the SureMDM console. So to make the task simple, as soon as the devices are enrolled, the default policies which we have for this group will be deployed automatically. It includes the installation of the agent for Android, the profile configuration for Windows, and profile configuration, the agent configuration for Android. So all the processes automated. Now, how to initiate a scan on the device and get the information about the threats which are present on those devices. For that, admin must visit MTD section, which is on the top part of the screen. I will select the history, like from past 4 weeks till today. All the data which I want will be displayed here. This is called MTD Dashboard. For a quick scan to be initiated on the device, admin must click on the button which is located on the right top corner of the screen in the MTD dashboard, that is scan. As soon as admin confirms yes, a profile will be deployed on the device which will initiate the scan. You can see here there are 2 profiles which are in pending. As soon as these profiles reach the device, it will be executed. In case of Android, it's already reached the device, and the report will be sent immediately to the SureMDM console. So let's have a look at each and every component which are present in this particular screen in MTD dashboard. Overall scan result, which shows the count of devices that are under risk. So at present in this console, there are 2 devices which are under risk and the risk is high. I have another console in which the fleet of Android devices are enrolled only. And in this, the active number of threats are present as 8. So active number of threats option shows the number of threats which are active and have not been quarantined or deleted from the devices. No action has been taken on it. Only the scan has been initiated. So threat found in OS will give you the list of all the operating systems which are under scan and number of threats found in each one of those operating systems. So in case of this Android device, there are altogether 30 threats detected. 27 are highly risk for that particular asset, and there are only 3 medium and no low risk threats found so far. If I go to the other dashboard here in different console, so the in Windows device there are 13 threats altogether and all are high. In Android only 1 was detected. So moving on to the next graph here. So device risk over time shows the level of risk over the period of time. So on 3rd, only 3 threats were detected on the Android devices. And on 16th, 1 threat was detected. So similar way, the affected packages are displayed in this graph. So it contains the list of packages which are present on the device and are infected with malware or some kind of virus in it. It also displays the storage and the file name with extension. So the last graph here is our threat distribution. So this graph displays the level of severity and the dates those threats were detected or encountered on the devices. So on 3rd, there were 23 threats detected with severity high. And on the same day, 3 medium were detected. If we go further, on 16th, low severity, no threat were detected, and there were 4 with a high severity on those devices. And also, if admin wants to have a look on the files and the report, so events and alert is the section where admin must visit. So when the scan was initiated, the date column is visible, the device name, the operating system, name of the virus, actually the file which is infected and present on the particular endpoint, the path where that file is stored, the full path complete with the file extension is visible, severity level, threat name, and if the threat is quarantined or it's been deleted. So in my case, in my console, I opted to quarantine the threat, but in the other console, most of the threats are deleted, but few of them are active. The policy was designed in such a way to keep the threads active for so and so duration, but another policy was designed to delete the threads. Now we are talking about the policies. Let's have a look what all policies. So we have seen what information will be extracted and displayed in these graphs, how to initiate a quick scan on those devices. Now let's have a look what all policies can be implemented on those devices from the SureMDM console. Under profile section, Android is the section which admin must visit. For demonstration purpose, already I have created a profile. Let's modify and have a look on the key features which MTD profile has to offer. So schedule scan, admin can opt for the scan mode as well, whether it should be a recommended, full, light plus, light, or basic scan. So this is the section where admin can opt to quarantine the threat, delete, skip, or it must prompt a user the threat has been detected. So I will let it be as default as quarantine, and number of days and the time when the scan must be initiated automatically on those particular endpoints, Android endpoints. Anti-phishing and fake app protection allow admin to have web filtering. Categories can be defined which must be scanned for, extensions of web categories, and exclusions. So any keywords which must be excluded from the scan can be mentioned here in this section. Like physics and chemistry are the two I mentioned here. And fake app protection will scan the installed applications for any type of malware in it. Antivirus protection scans and monitors the suspicious objects, riskware, adware, the directories which must be scanned, and directories which must be excluded from scan can be defined in these two sections. Application monitor will monitor the installed applications for riskware, adware, and this particular option will allow admin to scan the applications which were installed previously, even when the MTD agent was not present on the devices. Even those applications will be scanned for any type of malicious code in it. Wi-Fi safety analyzer will check for the unsecured network or any rogue networks which the devices are connected to. Anti-spam option will scan the contacts. Admin can define the block list and the allow list contacts, and also the non-numeric numbers can be blocked, like the scam numbers. All those can be blocked from the devices. So this is all about MTD policy, which has been developed for Android devices. Now let's have a quick look at the Windows policy as well. So for Windows, again, one profile I created for the reference, and let's modify, have a look at it. So as I defined earlier, for Windows, Windows Defender will act as agent on the devices which run the scan and updates the threat information to the SureMDM console. So under scan section, admin will have option to scan the archive files, emails, network, and drives which are mapped on the networks. What scan parameter must be opted for, that can also be defined here. Admin can opt for either a quick scan or a full scan. Also, this policy can be scheduled for a particular day and a time. So real-time protection monitors the behavior, and IOAV protection is also available here. The real-time scan direction can be defined, whether it should be the scanning for all the incoming files outgoing, or the scanning must be initiated for both the files which are incoming and outgoing in the particular asset. Exclusions will allow to define a rule for extension path and processes which must be excluded from scan during the scan process. Signature updates. Signature update file share sources and signature update fallback order can be defined in this particular field. So Defender exploit guard will allow admin to set surface reduction rules and also exclusions of it. Folder level access and the folder level protection and the network protection as well can be defined in this section. Under advanced section, admin can choose to send the data to Microsoft for any threat which are detected on the devices, and also can define the number of days to retain the clean malware. So these are a few key features which we have in the policies which can be implemented on the devices. And once these policies are sent to the devices, there is no way end user can change those policies on the devices. Once we have the scan, once the devices are been scanned with the defined policies, now admin, if they want to have a report of the scan which was executed on the devices, for that admin must visit the reporting section. Under reporting section, on-demand reports will be by default selected. Scroll till bottom and search for MTD scan report. Select the group for which the report must be generated. Add the group and request report. The requested report will be viewed under the view report section. It takes a couple of minutes or seconds to generate the report, and it will contain each and every minute detail about the threat. The name of the device, the name of Android device is Android_MTD. Windows device name is Windows_10_MTD. The file name, the application category, the threat name, status is application. So all these columns are available here in this section. So this report can be downloaded in the form of CSV and Excel file, XLSX format, both. And also, in case admin wants to have this report in their email after some duration, like every end of the day or a week or a month, that can also be achieved using this solution. So admin must select the parameter, like the scheduling section cycle, whether it's weekly, monthly, or daily. Define the time, at what time it must be initiate the report, and the email to which the report must be sent. So to the defined email address, a link will be sent. As soon as admin click on that link, it will download a file which contains the similar report which I just showed here. So this is all about the SureMDM MTD feature, the reporting section, and the MTD dashboard. So it's time for Q&A. Thank you for attending our webinar. It's time to answer the questions that were submitted during the session. If you haven't added your questions in the question box, now it's the time. I will give everybody a minute to ask any final questions they may have. So I have my first question here. Will the solution be able to scan devices and send a report even if the devices are offline? Yes, the scan, as per the policy which are defined and deployed on the devices, the scan will be initiated and the report will be sent to the SureMDM console as soon as the devices regain the internet connectivity. Another question I have here, if any certificate like Wi-Fi VPN certificate is corrupted or malicious, does your solution help to identify the same? Yes, any type of files with any extensions can be scanned, and it will scan the file and the report will be sent, and admin can also opt for to delete immediately or to quarantine that particular thread or the certificate which contains the malware. If the user disable the policy from device, then how can the admin re-enable them? So there is no way end user can disable the policy on the devices, because it will be, as per the screenshot, managed by the settings is managed by your organization. So this message will be shown to the end user, and there is no way, if the options are enabled, they will not be able to disable those options by themselves. Another question. Does this feature supports on all Android models and OS versions? For this, for Android 7 and above, is must. Android 7, Android Nougat is the minimum version, and all the above version of Androids are supported. So 7 is the minimum, because accessibility settings are must to have on the operating system to use this privilege. So we realized there are few more questions that we did not have time to answer. We will reply to your questions via email as soon as possible. Thank you. So with this, we have come to the end of the webinar. We hope you liked our session today and we could answer all your queries related to MTD. If you would like to rewatch this webinar, we will upload it to YouTube in a day or two. If you have any questions, please feel free to send us an email at webinars@42gears.com or visit our website at www.42gears.com. Thank you and stay safe.